Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 2 of the Marquette Messenger Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Will Roach.
And I'm also your host, Jeff Swift.
You're the co-host, Jeff.
Co-host?
Yeah.
Well, you don't put co-host in front of yours.
Well, that's because I'm the better host.
Fair enough. I can't argue.
Okay, but today we are going to be talking about Joker, and probably I'll go on a little tangent about Dreamworks' new Abominable at the end. So, first let's go over a little bit of plot for the Joker.
Okay, I'll take that one away. Well, you have the Joker. Let's not call him Joker yet.
He's not the Joker. I mean,
yeah.
It is advertised that he becomes the Joker, but you don't have to worry about that yet.
You have Arthur Fleck, a mentally ill, and as revealed, should we? Spoiler?
No.
No spoiler?
Not yet. Not yet?
Okay. Well, okay, then you have Arthur Fleck, a mentally ill man who is looking over his mother in a small apartment in the middle of Gotham City. They are very poor. He works a very unsuccessful or very, just impoverished job as a party clown, who doesn't get the most work in the world, but he, makes do. He struggles with the job, and that's kind of him going into it, is that he's got issues, but he's trying to survive in a very dark, just bleak Gotham City.
Yeah, this Gotham isn't the one that most people are familiar with, like from Christian Bale Dark Knight movies, or even the one seen the more recent DC movies.
And if you're coming to hear from the old 90s Batman movies, this isn't uber gothic Gotham with giant statues everywhere and very overdone. This is it's almost realistic in the way that it goes after it,
Yeah. In other contexts, it takes place in about the 70s or 80s.
Yes.
But, other things, I guess, did we really miss anything?
About the backgrounds?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I wouldn't think so.
Otherwise, I do say this in the written review I have, but the conflict is more of a slow burn on Arthur Fleck's insanity, rather than just like an explicit conflict where one is obviously the good guy and one is obviously the bad guy. So we can't really go into too much without spoiling anything. So now we're just going to give our general thoughts on Joker.
On the movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll start with, I think it's an incredibly effectively done movie. I think so much of it, it's well shot. Joaquin Phoenix is just phenomenal. The cast does a great job. There's a lot of, strong points with acting. It's fairly well written. There's not any point in the movie really where you look back and say, hey, that doesn't add up.
Yeah.
Because most of it, the vast majority of it, to the point where you won't even notice anything. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. There's no real plot holes or anything like that. It's just, it's the only thing I would say specifically, not about message or anything like that, is that it does start a bit slow. It takes a while for you to really get into the groove of the movie.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, you are in it. It is chaos.
Yeah, I definitely share Jeff's enthusiasm or I guess your enthusiasm. I don't have to talk in third person here. I definitely also enjoy your enthusiasm on the movie for every aspect you mentioned, except for the message that it delivers, which it really tries to deliver the message of society shuns mentally ill people, which that's definitely true, and I think it's important that that message gets out. But really, because this movie is about Joker, it really kind of gives off the message that if society shuns mentally ill people, you're going to create like supervillains. Because you can't really relate Joker to just a regular mentally ill individual. Otherwise, I love the movie. That's the only like part I found with it that made me discontent.
Mm-hmm.
But at that, I guess, are we ready to get into spoilers?
Spoilers, yes.
Okay, well, clap, clap. It's spoilers time. The rest of the plot, it's kind of everywhere, but mainly because it's so focused on Arthur Fleck becoming the Joker.
Yes.
Big events that happen. I guess we can just go over those.
Yeah. Just first off, of course, the shooting.
Which
where
one, Jeffrey?
The initial one where he brings a gun as self-defense after it was given to him by one of his colleagues to make sure that he doesn't get mugged like he did earlier in the movie. However, he gets harassed by 3 businessmen who, as you'll find out later on, work for Wayne Incorporated.
Yep.
So Wayne, or rather the 3 men, they harass him. They're harassing a woman. He laughs because he has the condition where he just keeps laughing. And they all harass him. Then they get physical. They push him to the ground. One of them kicks him, and then all of a sudden a gunshot is heard, and he's dead. Another guy gets shot, and then a third man who was already shot gets hunted down by the Joker, who is carrying the gun. Now, throughout this entire point, it's important to look at the Joker. He was not, he wasn't happy or, Joker the way we think. He was truly a guy that was scared out of his wits throughout the entire situation.
But he did kind of enjoy killing the last guy.
That's why he went for it. So there was a little hint of that develops throughout the movie.
Yeah. And so, because 3 Wall Street boys were killed in what looks like cold blood, because, Arthur Fleck was not seen there at all, so no one knows that it was done mostly in self-defense. Not completely. Thomas Wayne comes out, says, well, all these poor people are evil for killing these rich people. And that causes a bit of a riot to happen, where everyone dresses as clowns, because I think there was a witness there that said...
Yes, that was the lady who got off the train.
Yeah. The lady said, well, it was a clown who probably did it.
Yeah.
But no one could really see Fleck under clown makeup, so clowns became the symbol of the 99%.
Yep.
I guess. And from there, I guess other things you can pick up. It's heavily implied, that Thomas Wayne is Arthur Fleck's father. He had an affair with his mother. Potentially. It's not ever really confirmed.
Yeah, and they actually go in the movie and say that she also had mental illness of her own. She didn't grasp reality. She was, what's the word? One starts with a D. Delusional.
Delusional.
She was delusional. Very delusional. I could say schizophrenic too. But yeah, she's not... You learn also throughout the movie that his mother is very... she's been through stuff, and she has a lot of stuff going through her mind.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of problems, just like him.
So there is that. The other big parts of the movie that we should mention, Arthur Fleck... This is also a bit suspicious. After Fleck manages to approach Thomas Wayne at an opera and kind of confronts Wayne about being his son, I think he goes home and his mother goes to the hospital.
Yeah, it was in the hospital.
Yeah. She gets sent to the hospital because she was in the process of dying from natural causes, which seems kind of suspicious, but again, all kind of just implied. Nothing concrete. And soon after that, Fleck kind of has a little snappy part in his brain after he finds out that he was abused as a child and... By
her and her...
boyfriend at the time. Not Thomas Wayne, but another boyfriend. So after Fleck finds some of that stuff out and his mother never told him any of that, he kind of kills her.
Mm-hmm. Smothers her with a pillow.
Yep. Then after that, he kills the co-worker who gave him a gun.
Yes, but they came to his apartment, and
yeah, 2 of his co-workers came to his apartment, but he only killed one.
He only killed one. The other one, who was nice to him throughout the movie.
So he survived.
Yeah, he survived, and actually Arthur said, "Yeah, you were nice to me. I think you were the only one that was nice to me. So I'm not gonna kill you."
We forgot about the talk show host.
Yes.
Robert De Niro plays a talk show host, and Joker, or at least Arthur Fleck at the very beginning, kind of fantasizes just being accepted by him and having a father figure.
Yeah, it was really the father figure.
Very touching moment. And that kind of all comes to fruition when Arthur Fleck attempts to do stand-up comedy at just some, like, local stand-up comedy place. And the show host gets, like, he sees the recording of Joker, makes fun of him on his own show, then invites him on. Joker goes on after he's done his whole transformation, blah, 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 and just kind of goes on a rant about how we live in a society. And then he shoots Robert De Niro's character.
Yes, and actually, it is shown that originally he didn't want to shoot anyone. He wanted to shoot himself.
Yeah.
That's what he wanted. He wanted his death to have more meaning than his life. So he was going to do he had been practicing throughout the movie a knock-knock joke where he pulls out a gun and then shoots himself in the mouth. Very, very dark.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, while he's on the show, he's being grilled and all that. He tells a joke, and it basically boils down to society treats people poorly, or if you contribute to a society that treats people with illness or whatever like second-class citizens, you'll get what you deserve. And then he says, "You get what you deserve," and then shoots him in cold blood in front of everybody on the TV show. And you see this huge shift of him, because he really goes from being the "I hate myself" to
it's not a problem
Mr.
with
Chaos.
me. It's not a problem with me, it's a problem with the world. That's the shift.
And he's going to create chaos.
So yeah, that's kind of the pivotal moment where they really send their message. It's a problem with society, not with me, which, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
It is a problem with society. But the way of fixing that, well, the way of sending that message shouldn't have been about a supervillain, just about some regular guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ultimately, it is very a very good movie. I should have said at the very beginning, it's definitely not a comic book movie.
No.
Don't go into it expecting that.
Don't think good old Marvel quips and things like that are going to occur. They are not. All the humor in this is very dark.
And dry.
Yes. But you could get some chuckles out of it. Just watch out.
Maybe not for the right reasons.
Yes, all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But again, that's this movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not out to be a movie for kids and families and things like that.
Definitely not.
No, this is rated R for a reason, and it's very, very dark.
Okay. I guess you want to do ratings now?
Sure, we can do that. All right.
Okay. For Joker, like I said at the beginning, I agree with everything Jeff said, which was phenomenal acting, great setting. What else is there? It's a lot. The score is incredible. And everything is really well done and executed except for that message. And ultimately, because the movie is so tied up on its message, I say like 7 out of 10. 7.5.
7 out of 10.
Yeah.
All right. Quite frankly, because it's a movie and everything, I really the whole interpretation of the message, for me, it's a lot less pivotal because it still has to be that, you know, so you can be misguided by it, but also, you know, most people will go in and look at this and say, okay, this is their analysis, but they need to also make it a Joker movie. That does weaken it significantly, but it still doesn't prevent me from saying it's a 9 out of 10 movie.
Yeah.
It's a really strong movie that if you are of legal age, I would totally suggest seeing.
And you don't have to bring your birth certificate. Just a little bit of context on that joke. Jeff couldn't find his permit when we went to see Joker, so we got denied the first round. The second time we tried to see it, he brought his birth certificate, and that got him in.
Yep. Birth certificate and a photo of me with my name on it.
Yep, it works. I will acknowledge the fact that the project probably would have never been greenlighted, at least by Warner Bros., if it weren't about Joker.
Yeah.
So, while I do say that blah blah blah, bad movie because Joker, not bad, but not at its fullest potential, but at the end of the day, it never would have happened without the Joker. So I guess that's all we have. Now I guess I get to talk about Abominable.
Yes.
Because Jeff didn't see it.
Describe it to me.
And so tell me what you know about it already, so I don't.
Okay, so it's a DreamWorks movie.
Yep.
About are they? What nationality is it? I didn't.
They're Asian.
Asian. Okay, I guess we'll just go with that. About an Asian.
Actually, that's really specific. They're Chinese.
They're Chinese.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so it's a Chinese group, and they are there, and they find an abominable snowman, and they try to take him home.
Yeah.
Because that hasn't been done, like,
okay,
at least 3 times over the last year.
Yeah. Yeah, it does have a very DreamWorksy How to Train Your Dragon feel to it. But, I mean, it is DreamWorks, and How to Train Your Dragon is their bread and butter right now. So, right now we're probably not tired of it yet, but soon, if they keep going with that, we will. But, here's the plot of Abominable. So, Young Yi is the main character, and her dad died a little bit recently, which is a really interesting aspect that I'll get to later. But yeah, one day she finds a Yeti, like a baby Yeti on her roof. Not like house roof, she lives in an apartment, so the roof of her building. She lives in Shanghai. And what happens is the Yeti first escapes from a scientific facility, and so the antagonists are just 2 scientists who want their Yeti experiments to happen. Not experiments, they just want the fame for finding a Yeti.
Mm-hmm.
But then Yi kind of disagrees with that, as most children would. And so her friend, why am I forgetting his name? I forgot the second main character's name, which is horrible. And then the other guy's younger cousin, Peng, they all go to take the Yeti, who they eventually name Everest, to Mount Everest, where all the Yetis apparently live. I mean, yeah, it's not the greatest name. So yeah, it's just a little journey that these kids go on. It's mystical, it's magical. It's DreamWorks just throwing you into a bunch of situations where they can show how incredible they can animate things or make things look. Which I won't try to sound too excited about that, because every time I talk about DreamWorks, I end up talking about their animation, because it's always incredible. But, yeah, they just go on their little journey and take Everest home. It has a lot of surprising character development. Because most of the time you just have kid movies where the characters are really single-faceted, not very interesting.
One-dimensional.
There's the term. But yeah, this one, it's very good. Like, the other guy, whose name I still haven't remembered, he's just kind of your classic, what's the term? I don't know. He's really shallow. Like, a running joke through the movie is that he loves his new shoes and will not risk anything to ruin them because of how expensive they were. And eventually he kind of grows out of that in an interesting way. I won't say that because I want people to actually see this movie because I appreciate it a lot. Yi's development is actually kind of dealing with grief, like of a family member who passed away recently, which a lot of kid movies will like show, okay, yeah, they have grief, but we're going to just say that they do and move on with the other plot that we think is more important. But Abominable kind of includes that development into the plot and how she gets over her grief, which I find to be very nice for a kid's movie, and knowing that grieving over a dead family member is okay and that there are ways to get over, or get past it, rather. So yeah, I think it's a pretty well done movie. Not the greatest, most eventful one, but pretty good.
Sounds like it's kind of like an Adele song, it's her trying to like show off everything we can do, but having kind of solid substance, but not everything, because it's really more about listening to Adele sing or seeing the Dreamworks animation.
Yeah, and it's definitely not the most original writing, like I said, but it's still a kid's movie. That doesn't justify it, obviously. But, yeah, overall pretty well. I give that, like, also 7.5 or 8 out of 10. Yeah, that's Abominable.
Did you know that it was a kid's movie?
Oh, okay, Jeff. Yeah, you can make that argument. I don't have to listen to it.
I heard it's a Christmas movie.
Okay, Jeff. Shazam was going to be a Christmas movie.
Shazam?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why there's all the Christmas stuff in it.
Yep. Supposed to release when Aquaman was released, but they changed it. I forget why. But, well, let's stop. Just let's
blibber blabbering and just what?
Yeah, I guess that's the episode, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for listening. Our next episode should be coming out relatively soon, probably in the next 2 weeks, because we have a special guest coming on, maybe a few special guests coming on, and it won't be just Jeff and me, and it'll be a rare event. And I hope you're there to listen to it, and we always appreciate you people who listen to us, because we just like talking about movies.
Yes.
Right? Thank you. Bye.
Adios.